guys, welcome back to my channel. It's BooksWithBethx here and welcome back to another video. You're here for my most anticipated releases for the rest of fall. So obviously we are in fall or autumn. I should say autumn, I'm British. We are in the beginning of autumn at this point. So there have been a few releases I've missed by the time this video goes out. But yeah, I've got a list of books that are coming out from the 26th of September to the 7th of November. I didn't find many that were coming out in November. And I consider autumn to be from September to November, and then December to February is winter, so I'll do another one of these for then. But yeah, there wasn't that many for November. There's loads coming out in October, a few that I've actually already started reading because I've got arcs for them, but not many in November. So if there's any others other than these two, and one of them's quite a big one, let me know. And if you see me constantly looking down, obviously I've got my list here on my tablet in front of me, so that's why. So I will be doing these in order of release, and this first book will come out in just a couple of days. I'm really excited for this one. This is one of my most anticipated book on this list, let's be honest, and this is The Fragile Threads of Power by V.E. Schwab, which is a new series in the Darker Shades of Magic series. So that initially was a trilogy, and she's now released this fourth book set a few years in the future. So I don't want to go into any spoilers on this book series because obviously it is a completed series at this point and there's quite major things that happen at the end of the third book. I am in the process of rereading them actually. I've only read the first one at the minute, so I need to get the other two read before this comes out literally in 2 days, so I better hurry up on that. So this is a world where you have 4 different types of London. You have Red London, where they live in harmony with magic. You have Grey London, which is pretty much like our London. It's sort of set in Georgian times and there's no magic. I mean, people do have magic, but you don't really see them. It's not like as widespread as in Red London. White London is a London where magic is slowly taking over and there's a lot of battles among the sort of civilians that live there for power, and it is sort of devouring them. And Black London is sort of the consequences of what will happen to White London if they're not careful. And power is completely taken over. No one is alive there. It's just like, yeah, very dangerous, not anywhere you can really live type of place, basically. And you have these people called Antari, or magicians, that can travel between each of the Londons, and they tend to work as more messengers. So they'll send messages between the King of Red London to the King of Grey London, for example, and they travel between. But in the first book, there is this artifact that is given to Kel, who is our main character. He's from Red London, and this artifact is from Black London. And everything Black London related should have been put back in because it's obviously very dangerous. And he accidentally takes that back with him to Red London, and there's like a chase between all different Londons and a lot of fighting, and yeah, they're really good, really action driven. I'm not doing any justice here. And obviously the story mainly follows the events that happen from that first book onwards. Obviously everything pretty much gets concluded by the end of the third book, but I'm assuming something will happen to cause this new book to come out. So yeah, very excited for this one. It's due to come out on the 26th of September, so in 2 days' time. So yeah, looking forward to this one. Then the next release on my list is Secret Project 4 by Brandon Sanderson. So this is coming out on the 1st of October. He may have announced what it is by the time this goes out. We'll see, but I'm very excited for this. It's another Cosmere-based one because, so 2 of the other 3 secret projects were both Cosmere. You've got Tress of the Emerald Sea and Yumi and the Nightmare Painter. Both of those 2 are set in the Cosmere. The other one, I can't think of the name of it now. London Survival Guide for a Magician or something like that. That one was separate. But this is another Cosmere one, and I don't know if you can tell. Oh no, you can't see. You can't see because it's right at the top. I am slowly reading through the Cosmere. I've read all of Mistborn. I've done Elantris. I've read all the short stories that I can. And I'm just about to start Warbreaker, hopefully within the next few months. If you've seen my autumn TBR, or the books I want to read in autumn, that was mentioned on there. So yeah, I'm gradually reading through all of his books. I've got Stormlight Archives after that. Then I was going to read the other 2 secret projects, but we need to see when Secret Project 4 falls, because it might fall into an area that I can read, or it might not, because I know Tress is after what I can read, or what I've read up to. It sounds quite interesting though. Very excited for that. I'm always happy for a new Brandon Sanderson release, and he's actually releasing another book. I think that might be November, in the Skyward series, which I haven't read yet because I want to read all of these first. But he's got a YA sci-fi series. It's supposed to be pretty good, or at least the first couple of books are supposed to be really good. And he's got another release for that. How's this man? How's he function? Like, he just must write constantly. I would say 9 to 5. You must write more than that to be able to get all these books pumped out every year. He's released 6 books this year, maybe more. I'm probably missing some. It's insane. But yeah, that's definitely on my most anticipated list, and that's due to be announced or released even on the 1st of October. So next up on my list is Curious Tides by Pascale Lascelles. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. This is coming out on the 3rd of October. This is a new YA series. The series is called Drowned Gods, and it sounds really interesting. On Goodreads, it literally says, Ninth House meets a deadly education in this gorgeous dark academia fantasy following a teen mage who must unravel the truth behind the secret society that may have been involved in her classmates' deaths. Sounds really exciting. So it sounds like it's almost a deadly education type school where a lot of people die, and there's sort of mystery elements and probably romance elements as well. And this main character becomes extremely powerful and has to use these powers to just find out what happened to her classmates. So yeah, quite excited for that. And again, that's the 3rd of October this comes out. And I enjoy dark academia. I really enjoy the deadly education. I need to read the rest of the Scholomance, whatever you call it. Again, if you've watched my autumn TBR, you'll know the second book's on there, and probably even the third, to be honest. So yeah, this sounds right up my street. And actually also Ninth House is also on that TBR, but I've not read it yet. But I do like a magical dark academia type book, so this sounds really intriguing and really exciting. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. So next up is After the Forest by Kel Woods. So this is out on the 4th of October, and I actually have an arc for this. I'm currently listening to this on audiobook. This was one of those arcs that I mentioned in my TBR video, and yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. It's a bit wishy-washy a little bit, but it is enjoyable so far. This is basically a Hansel and Gretel retelling almost, although it's set when they're a bit older. Hansel, who's now known as Hans, he's in a lot of debt. He keeps gambling away all their money. It's just the two of them now. Like, their father has died, their stepmother ran away, and Greta, when they were in the witch's house, she stole this cookbook. But it's a talking cookbook, and it tells her how to make this incredible gingerbread that she goes around selling to people, and she's hoping this will help them get out of her brother's debts. But there's quite a lot of other things that happen. There's quite a lot of magic. There's magical creatures. I've just got to a bit with werewolves. I don't know. It's really, really strange, but really intriguing at the same time. And I don't really know where it's going, but I don't think that's a bad thing. I am enjoying it. Yeah, there's quite a lot happening. She's basically hiding this magical cookbook, grimoire, I think she calls it, like from the world. And if she gets caught, she'll probably be hung as a witch or executed as a witch or something. So yeah, really good, really intriguing, very different. It's quite dark compared to, I mean, I guess the original fairy tale is quite dark as well, if you think about it. Like, two kids being abandoned by their parents and then being caught by a witch, and then the brother being fed up, like, to feed the witch at some point, and then they burn the witch alive. Yes. It's quite a dark fairy tale. But yeah, it's good so far. I will recommend it. This might be an Illumicrate spoiler. If you get an Illumicrate and you don't want to know, stop listening now. But this book is the Illumicrate pick for, I guess it'll be October probably. Yeah, it will be October. So I'm listening to it, and I'm also getting a physical copy, which doesn't matter too much because at least I'm not adding it to my physical TBR. So that's one plus. But yeah, it's good so far. I am only about 30% into it, so obviously things will change a bit by that point, but yeah, I'm enjoying it. Okay, so next on my list is Swordcatcher by Cassandra Clare, and this is out on the 10th of October. So I haven't read any Cassandra Clare yet, because I know she's obviously well known for the Shadowhunter series. I have got that on my list to read at some point, but there's like, it's probably exaggerating, but it's probably around 20 books in that series right now. I'm busy with Cosmere. I'm not going to be able to catch up with that for a while. But this sounds quite intriguing. This is another YA fantasy, I believe it's a series. Yeah, it's a series. Where you follow two different characters. The first one is a sword catcher. He's basically trained up to look like, is it the king? The prince. And he's basically a good fighter and things like that. And his whole goal in life is to die for the prince. So if someone tries to assassinate the prince, hopefully they'll assassinate him instead. And then you follow a female character named Lynn, who has some sort of magical abilities. And she is a physician. So her job obviously is to heal people. And after a failed assassination attack, it brings those two characters together, and they're drawn into like this criminal underworld, and there's a lot of intrigue and corruption among the higher ups and things like that. So maybe it'll end up being a heist story. I quite like a heist story, so it sounds quite intriguing. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I know Cassandra Clare is quite highly cherished by a lot of people, and it'd be quite interesting to see her writing a new series as well. So yeah, looking forward to this one. Next, we've got Lilith by Nikki Mamory, and this is due out on the 17th of October. So this is a quite different mythological retelling. It's a Hebrew retelling around like the Garden of Eden. So there's this Hebrew myth. Obviously in Christianity you have Adam and Eve, but in Hebrew you have Adam and Lilith. And then when Lilith disobeys Adam, Eve is sent down. But in this story, Lilith gets banished from paradise, but has already eaten the apple, which has given her knowledge of everything. But there's also like a mystery element in it, like God's wife has gone missing, so she's on the hunt to find her, but she also wants to take revenge on Adam, because clearly Adam's not a very nice guy, who obviously made her get forbidden from what her actual duties would have been in this mythology? I don't know what you call it. But yeah, this sounds quite interesting. I haven't read anything about Hebrew mythology before. Obviously, as they in the Bible, it's just Adam and Eve from the outset, whereas if it's Adam and Lilith and then Eve, quite interesting. So yeah, look forward to this one. I need to read more mythology. I've still only read Madeline Miller, so I want to try and branch out a bit, read other different types of mythology as well as more Greek. Obviously, I want to read a bit of Roman. I want to all sorts, Nordic, but yeah. So this will help me branch out a bit if I read this, and as I say, it comes out on the 17th of October. So the next book is actually one that I've also got as an ARC, and this is Julia by Sandra Newman, and this is released on the 19th of October. So I don't know if you can tell by the image, but this follows Julia from 1989 by George Orwell, and it's sort of a retelling of her life and her experiences living in 1989. 1989 is one of my favourite books ever written, I'd say, and it's going to be quite interesting reading this from a more female perspective. Obviously you don't really know much about Julia when you read the book. I need to reread 1989. I haven't read that in a while, but yeah, it's nice to follow her rather than Winston. And it says here on Goodreads, Sandra Newman has tackled the world of Big Brother in a truly convincing way, offering a dramatically different feminist narrative that is true to and stands alongside the original. Here finally is a provocative, vital and utterly satisfying companion novel. So, sounds quite interesting. I'm definitely looking forward to reading this, and I'm very glad I got accepted for an ARC for it as well, so thank you to the publisher. I will get to it ASAP. And I've got yet another book that I've been accepted for an ARC for. This was the first one I got accepted for actually, which is really exciting. But this is Let Us Descend by Jasmine Ward, and this is coming out on the 24th of October. So this one sounds really interesting. I don't know, you probably can't really see. I really enjoy, I say enjoy, I don't really enjoy, but I enjoy reading sort of slavery stories, like American history slavery stories. Obviously fictional ones mainly, and this sounds quite interesting. So this one follows a female slave. She is the daughter of the slaveholder, and he sells her basically, and as she's traveling from place to place, so traveling from her old home to her new one, she sort of goes inside of herself and builds up this new world, like this new fantastical world, to help obviously escape the awful situation that she's going through. Yeah, it says here, throughout, she opens herself to a world beyond this world, one teeming with earth and water, of myth and history. Spirits who nurture and give, and those who manipulate and take. Sounds really interesting. It sounds almost magical realism with sort of more fantasy element. Obviously, it's going to be quite dark, I feel, so I need to save this for when the weather's a bit darker outside. And yeah, I think it's definitely going to be one that I'll really enjoy, and I feel like it probably will be potentially an award winner as well, so look forward to that one. So next I've got a YA historical fiction romance fantasy book, pretty much every genre you can throw in there. This is What the River Knows by Isabel Ibanez. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. And this is out on the 31st of October. So this is the last book that's coming out in October on my list. This sounds really intriguing. So you follow our main character, Inez. She is quite upper class, and she has everything apart from her parents. Her parents keep trotting off all over the world, leaving her behind, and that's the only thing she wants, is her family. And when her parents die in a tragic accident, she travels over to Cairo in Egypt to try and discover what happens to them. Before her parents died, they gave her this golden ring, which she took with her when she travelled, and turns out there's old magic attached to this ring, and it causes a lot of mystery and intrigue around what happened to them, and there's starts falling for this guardian that's looking after her and stuff like that. So yeah, sounds quite interesting, very fantastical, very historical fiction-y, very just everything that's right up my street. I love historical fiction. I love fantasy, obviously. It sounds quite magical realism me though, which I don't really read that often, but yeah, I'm sure I'll enjoy it. I'm sure I'll enjoy it. And this comes out on the 31st of October. Now, this next book probably is one that most of you are watching this for. Needs zero introduction. Obviously, one of my anticipated, probably won't rush to read it, but I will try and read it. One of my anticipated releases is Iron Flame, also by Rebecca Yarros, surprise, surprise. And this is out on the 7th of November. So this is the second book to the Fourth Wing series. There's an actual name of the series, but I'll call it the Fourth Wing series because that's what everyone knows it as. And yeah, this just basically follows on from the events of the first book. I don't really need to say much more. I don't even need to explain the book really, do I? Because everyone's probably heard of it at least, if not read it by this point. But yeah, this comes out on the 7th of November. And finally, I've got The Future by Naomi Alderman, which also comes out on the 7th of November. This one sounds really intriguing. This is my only sci-fi on the list actually. It's sort of sci-fi dystopian style book, which I really enjoy. It's one of my favourite genres, and I guess dystopian's a subgenre, one of my favourite subgenres. So this follows a world that has been basically destroyed. Billionaires are travelling into the future to take what they want from the future and destroy the future, as well as obviously present day. You're following these characters that are sort of found family that are trying to rise up against the billionaires, essentially. So it's very climate changey, very anti-capitalist, very taking down the establishment style book, which sounds really intriguing. And actually Naomi Alderman is one author that's been on my radar for quite a while. I haven't read any of her books. I don't own any of her books. She also wrote The Power as well, which looked really exciting when that first came out, but I never got around to it. But yeah, this sounds really interesting. It says here, it could be the greatest heist ever, or the I can't say that word. Or the, I'll put it on the screen, end of civilization. Cataclysmic? End of civilization. The future is what you see if you don't look behind you. The future is the only reason to do anything, the only object of desire. The future is here. So yeah, it sounds really interesting. It's also been marked as LGBTQ on here as well, which is even better. We love an LGBTQ book on this channel. So yes, very intriguing. I'm sure it's going to be incredible. It's got an average rating of 4 already on Goodreads, and that's from obviously people who have read the arcs for it. I might have to request the arc. If I can get access to this, I'll be very happy. That comes out on the 7th of November, so looking forward to that one. So those are the 11, and yes, I say 11, I should have rounded it up to 12, but clearly I didn't. The 11 books that are coming out this autumn/fall season that I'm relatively excited to read, or very excited to read for the majority of them. Are there any other books on your radar that I should be looking into? Because as I say, I struggled to find many for November, and I was Googling it, I was searching for like books that are coming out in November, and literally the only one that was ever mentioned was Iron Flame, and then occasionally The Future. So are there any others I should be looking out for? Let me know. And have you read any of these, or like as in got an arc for them, or any of these that you're looking forward to reading? Let me know in the comments, and I'm sure I'll read them at some point. Saying that, I've only read one from my previous most anticipated books. Have I read the one? I might have read more, but definitely, well, I've read Witch King. That's definitely one of them. But yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.